Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Daily English Talks. I'm Mia, and today we're going to spend some time together exploring a part of English you can use almost every day: shopping. Whether you are in a supermarket buying food, in a clothing store trying on outfits, at a market bargaining for fresh fruit, or online ordering something special, there are sentences and phrases that can make your shopping experience smoother, easier, and more enjoyable. In this lesson, we'll focus on 250 essential English sentences for real-life shopping situations. But we will not just read them together. We will practice them. We will repeat them slowly and clearly so you can shadow my voice. We will imagine real situations together so you can feel confident the next time you shop in English. Before we start, I want you to take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and remember that English learning is not about being perfect. It is about feeling more confident and understanding a little more each day. If you don't understand something the first time, that's fine. You can listen again. You can practice again. And with time, these sentences will feel natural to you. Let's start with the very first part of shopping: entering the store and greeting people. When you walk into a shop in an English-speaking country, it's common to greet the shop assistant. You might hear them say things like, "Hello, how can I help you today?" Or, "Good afternoon, welcome in." You can reply with simple sentences like, "Hello, just looking, thank you," or, "Hi, I'm looking for a new jacket." Let's say that together. Hi, I'm looking for a new jacket. One more time. Hi, I'm looking for a new jacket. Now imagine you are in a clothing store. You want to find a specific size. You can say, "Do you have this in a medium?" Repeat after me slowly. Do you have this in a medium? Good. You see. And change the size depending on what you need: small, large, extra large. For example, do you have this in a large? Sometimes you might want to ask about colors. You can say, "Do you have this in blue?" Or, "Does this come in black?" Let's practice the rhythm. Does this come in black? Does this come in black? Feel the smooth flow of the sentence. When you are looking at items but not ready to buy yet, you might want to ask, "Can I try this on?" This is useful for clothes, shoes, and even accessories. Say it with me. Can I try this on? In many stores, the fitting rooms are at the back. The assistant might say, "Sure, the fitting rooms are over there." Now let's practice a little conversation. I will be the shop assistant and you will be the customer. Listen first. Assistant: "Hi there, how can I help you?" You: "Hi, I'm looking for a new pair of jeans." Assistant: "What size do you wear?" You: "I usually wear a medium." Assistant: "All right, let me check for you." Now let's do it together. I'll say the assistant's part, and you respond. Ready? Hi there, how can I help you? Good. I usually wear a medium. Perfect. Let's do it again with a different item. Hi there. How can I help you? Yes, I'm looking for a red sweater. Excellent. When you are in a grocery store or supermarket, you might need different sentences. For example, where can I find the bread? Let's practice. Where can I find the bread? You can replace bread with milk, cheese, rice, or anything else you are looking for. Where can I find the rice? Sometimes you might need to ask if something is available. Do you sell organic eggs? Repeat slowly with me. Do you sell organic eggs? Very good. If they don't have it, they might say, "Sorry, we're out of stock." In that case, you could ask, "When will you have it again?" Another important part of shopping is asking about the price. You can say, "How much is this?" Or, "How much does this cost?" Let's practice the short one first. How much is this? Good. Keep your voice rising slightly at the end to make it sound like a question. How much is this? You might also hear prices in a way that is difficult to understand at first. For example, the assistant might say, "It's $24.99, meaning $24.99. Or in British English, it's £24.99. We will practice numbers later so you can catch them quickly. Now, I want you to imagine you are buying fruit at a market. You might say, "Can I have a kilo of apples, please?" Or in the US, "Can I have 2 pounds of apples, please?" Repeat. "Can I have a kilo of apples, please?" Great. You can replace apples with bananas, grapes, or oranges. Sometimes, you might need to ask about quality. Are these fresh? Or, is this on sale? Let's try. Are these fresh? One more time. Are these fresh? When you are ready to pay, you might hear, "Would you like a bag?" You can answer, "Yes, please," or, "No, thank you, I brought my own." Let's practice both. Yes, please. No, thank you, I brought my own. If you are paying with cash, you can say, "Here you go," or "Here's the money." If you're paying with a card, you can say, "I'll pay by card," or "Can I pay by credit card?" Repeat. Can I pay by credit card? Let's do a little role play together. Imagine we are at the checkout counter. I will be the cashier. Cashier. That will be $15.50. You. Here you go. Cashier. Thank you. Would you like a bag? You. No, thank you. I brought my own. Perfect. Now, to make this more natural, let's repeat some key sentences from today's practice quickly in a row. I'm just looking, thank you. Do you have this in a medium? Can I try this on? Where can I find the bread? How much is this? Are these fresh? Can I pay by credit card? We will keep building this list until you have all 250 sentences ready to use in real life. and by repeating them slowly, imagining real situate ions, and practicing aloud, you will start to feel more confident when you shop in English. When you are shopping for clothes, shoes, or accessories, sometimes you want to know if the shop has something in another style. You can say, "Do you have this in a different style?" Repeat after me. Do you have this in a different style? This is helpful if you like the item but want to see other versions. Maybe you like the shape but not the pattern, or the color but not the material. If you want to know whether there are new arrivals, you can ask, "Do you have any new arrivals?" Or, "What's new in stock?" Let's try together. Do you have any new arrivals? This is a friendly way to start a conversation with a shop assistant and find interesting products. When you want to know if something is available in your size but cannot see it, you can ask, "Could you check in the back?" This means the storage area of the shop. Say it with me. Could you check in the back? Now imagine you are in a shoe store. You like a pair of shoes on display but want to try them. You could say, "Can I try these in size 9? Or in UK sizes, maybe, "Can I try these in size 7? Repeat, "Can I try these in size 9? Sometimes the assistant will say, "Let me measure your size," especially in shoe shops. In that case, you can reply, "Sure, thank you," and let them help you. These little polite phrases make your shopping experience friendlier. Let's do a short role play for clothing shopping. I'll say the assistant's part, and you respond. Assistant: "Hello, can I help you find something?" You: "Yes, I'm looking for a blue dress in size medium." Assistant: "We have one here. Would you like to try it on?" You: "Yes, please." Now let's switch. I'll be the customer, and you be the assistant. Customer: "Hi, I'm looking for a pair of brown boots." That's right. You can answer. Sure. What size do you need? Good. When you're in a supermarket, you often need to know where things are. Besides, where can I find? You can also say, "Could you tell me where the sugar is?" Let's try. Could you tell me where the sugar is? Or, could you show me where the sugar is? Notice how "show me" is more direct and usually means the person will walk with you to the product. Sometimes you want to ask about a special offer. For example, "Is this on sale?" Or, "Is there a discount on this item?" Repeat, "Is this on sale?" This is common during holiday seasons or clearance sales. If the price is higher than you expected, you can ask politely, "Do you have a cheaper option?" Or, "Is there something similar but less expensive?" Try it with me. Is there something similar but less expensive? When you're buying food in a market, you might want to check the freshness. We already practiced, "Are these fresh?" You can also ask, "When were these baked?" for bread, or "When were these picked?" for fruit and vegetables. Let's say, "When were these baked?" Now let's practice some useful expressions for paying and the checkout process. If you need to split the payment between cash and card, you can say, "Can I pay part in cash and the rest by card?" Repeat. Can I pay part in cash and the rest by card? If you are short of small coins and want the assistant to keep the change, you can say, "Keep the change, please." This is common if the change is very small. Repeat. Keep the change, please. Sometimes the cashier will ask, "Do you have a loyalty card?" If you do, you can say, "Yes, here it is." If not, you can say, "No, I don't." Let's practice both quickly. Yes, here it is. No, I don't. Now, let's add more practice by imagining a scene in a busy grocery store. You are at the checkout. The cashier says, "Do you have a loyalty card?" You say, "No, I don't." The cashier says, "That will be $26.20. You say, "I'll pay by card." The cashier says, "Please tap your card here." You tap and they say, "Would you like a receipt?" You say, "Yes, please." Speaking of receipts, sometimes you may want to refuse it politely to save paper. You can say, "No, thank you, I don't need a receipt." Try it. "No, thank you, I don't need a receipt." When shopping for gifts, you might want the shop to wrap the item. You can say, "Could you gift wrap this for me?" Or, "Can you wrap this as a gift?" Repeat, "Could you gift wrap this for me?" If you're shopping online and need help in English, many sentences are the same. You can write or say, "I'd like to know if this is still available." Or, "Could you send me more details about this product?" Let's practice. I'd like to know if this is still available. Sometimes, when you are in a physical store but can't find what you want, you can ask, "Do you sell this online?" This is useful if they don't have your size or color. Now let's work on listening and responding quickly. I'll say a short question and you answer aloud. Would you like a bag? Good. Can I help you find something? Perfect. Is this on sale? Yes. Where can I find the bread? Excellent. For more natural English, sometimes people use softer forms of requests. Instead of, "Do you have this in medium?" you could say, "I was wondering if you had this in medium." Repeat slowly. I was wondering if you had this in medium. When you want to sound polite, adding "please" and "thank you" is always a good idea. Could you help me, please? Yes, thank you so much. Let's practice with polite rhythm. Could you help me, please? Thank you so much. Now let's do a mini dialogue with polite forms. Assistant. Hello, can I help you? You. Yes, I was wondering if you had these shoes in size 8, please. Assistant. Let me check for you. You. Then, thank you so much. In markets or street stalls, sometimes you might bargain. In English-speaking countries, this is less common in big stores, but possible in markets. You could say, "Is this your best price?" Or, "Could you give me a better price?" Repeat, "Is this your best price?" If you agree to buy, you can say, "I'll take it." Repeat, "I'll take it." When you want to think a little before buying, you can say, "I'll think about it, thank you." This is polite and leaves the option open. Let's finish this section with a quick memory challenge. I'll say a situation, and you say the sentence in your mind. You want to know if the store has more colors. Yes. Do you have this in a different color? You want to pay with a card. I'll pay by card. You want to ask for a bag. Could I have a bag, please? By repeating these sentences over and over in realistic situations, you'll make them part of your everyday English. And the next time you go shopping, you'll find yourself speaking naturally without thinking too much about grammar or structure. Sometimes when you are shopping, you might want to know if the store has more stock of a popular item. You can ask, "Do you have more in stock?" Repeat after me slowly. Do you have more in stock? You can also make it even friendlier by saying, "I really like this. Do you have more in stock?" If you are looking for something you have seen before, you can say, "I saw this last week. Do you still have it?" Repeat, "I saw this last week. Do you still have it?" This is useful when an item is seasonal or limited. Sometimes you may not find what you want in one store and you want to know if another branch has it. You can ask, "Do you have this in your other store?" Or, "Could you check another branch for me?" Let's practice the second one. "Could you check another branch for me?" When you need to make sure you can return an item, you can say, "What is your return policy?" Repeat, "What is your return policy?" Or, "Can I return this if it doesn't fit?" This is important, especially when buying clothes or shoes. In some shops, they will offer to order the item for you if it's not available. You can ask, "Can you order this for me?" Or, "Can I place an order for this?" Repeat, "Can you order this for me?" Let's imagine a situation where you are in an electronics store. You want to buy headphones, but they don't have the color you like. You might say, "Do you have these in white?" The assistant says, "No, but we can order them for you." You reply, "That would be great, thank you." When you are in a store with many options, you might need help deciding. You can ask, "Which one do you recommend?" Or, "What's your best-selling item?" Repeat, "Which one do you recommend?" If you want to know about the difference between two products, you can say, "What's the difference between these two?" Or, "How is this one different from that one?" Repeat, "What's the difference between these two?" Now, in some situations, you want to test a product before buying. In English, you can say, "Can I try this?" For example, in a cosmetics store, "Can I try this perfume?" In an electronics shop, "Can I try this camera?" Repeat, Can I try this? Sometimes, when you are in a food store or at a market, there are samples to taste. You can ask, "Can I have a sample?" Or, "Do you have samples?" Let's practice. Can I have a sample? When you want to know how long a sale will last, you can ask, "How long is this sale on for?" Or, "When does this offer end?" Repeat. When does this offer end? In a big store, you might not know where the checkout is. You can ask, "Where is the checkout?" Or, "Where can I pay?" Repeat, "Where can I pay?" Let's do a small role play. Customer, "Where is the checkout, please?" Assistant, "It's at the back of the store near the entrance." Customer, "Thank you. When you're shopping for clothes, you might need to ask for a different size after trying something on. You can say, 'Could I have this in a bigger size?' Or, 'Could I have this in a smaller size?' Repeat, 'Could I have this in a bigger size?' Sometimes you want to reserve an item for later. You can say, 'Can you hold this for me?' Or, 'Could you reserve this for me until tomorrow?' Repeat, 'Can you hold this for me?' If you are not ready to buy and you want to come back later, you can say, 'I'll come back for it.' Or, 'I'll think about it and come back.' Repeat, 'I'll come back for it.' When you are shopping for groceries and the price isn't clear, you can ask, "How much is this per kilo?" Or, "How much is this per pound?" Repeat, "How much is this per kilo?" Sometimes you want to know if you can get a small amount to try first. You can say, "Can I buy a small amount?" Or, "Do you sell this in smaller portions?" Repeat, "Can I buy a small amount?" When you're at a bakery and you see something interesting, you can ask, "What is this called?" Or, "What's in this?" Repeat, "What is this called?" Now, let's move into some more complex practice with connected sentences. I'll give you a shopping scenario and you try to answer naturally in your mind before I give you the example. Scenario 1. You are in a supermarket looking for tea. You can't find it. What do you say? You could say, "Excuse me, could you tell me where the tea is?" Scenario 2. You are in a clothing store and want to see a shirt in red. You can say, "Do you have this shirt in red?" Scenario 3. You are buying apples and you want to know the price per kilo. You can say, "How much are the apples per kilo?" Now let's do shadowing. I'll say a sentence slowly. You repeat after me with the same rhythm. Could you check another branch for me? Which one do you recommend? Can I have a sample? Could I have this in a smaller size? How much is this per pound? It's also important to practice polite responses to offers. For example, if a shop assistant offers help but you don't need it, you can say, "No thank you, I'm just looking." If you do need help, you can say, "Yes, please, I'm looking for a jacket. Let's repeat both. No, thank you. I'm just looking. Yes, please. I'm looking for a jacket. If someone offers you a discount, you can accept by saying, "That's great. I'll take it." Or you can refuse politely, "Thank you, but I'll think about it." Another useful set of phrases is for asking about payment options. We already practiced, "Can I pay by credit card?" You can also ask, "Do you accept contactless payment?" Or, "Can I pay with my phone?" Repeat. Do you accept contactless payment? When the cashier asks, "Would you like your receipt in the bag?" You can answer, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." In some countries, stores might ask if you want to sign up for their membership. They might say, "Would you like to join our loyalty program?" You can answer, "No, thank you," or "Sure, how does it work?" Repeat, "Sure, how does it work?" Now let's build a longer dialogue to combine many of the sentences we've learned. Assistant. Hello, how can I help you today? You. Hi, I'm looking for a pair of black trousers. Assistant. What size are you? You. Size medium, please. Assistant. Let me check. Here you go. Would you like to try them on? You. Yes, please. Assistant. The fitting rooms are over there. You. Thank you. Later. Assistant. How did they fit? You. A little tight. Could I have them in a bigger size? Assistant. Sure, I'll check the back. You. Thanks. By practicing these dialogues again and again, you start to create an automatic response system in your brain, so that when you are in a real shopping situation, you won't need to translate. The right sentence will just come out naturally. When you're in a store and you can't find what you want, sometimes it helps to ask, "Do you have something similar?" Repeat after me. Do you have something similar? This is a very useful sentence when you see an item you like, but it's not exactly right. Maybe it's the wrong color, the wrong size, or not quite the style you want. If you want to check whether a product is made from a certain material, you can ask, "What is this made of?" Repeat slowly. What is this made of? This can be useful when shopping for clothes, shoes, or furniture. For example, you might want to know if something is made of cotton, leather, or synthetic material. When you are buying food, you might ask, "Does this contain nuts?" Or, "Is this gluten-free?" Let's practice. Does this contain nuts? Is this gluten-free? These questions are especially important if you have allergies or special dietary needs. If you want to ask whether something is washable or needs special care, you can say, "Is this machine washable?" Or, "How do I clean this?" Repeat. Is this machine washable? How do I clean this? Now imagine you are in a large department store. You want to know if there are more floors or sections. You could ask, Do you have more upstairs? Or, is there another section for this? Repeat. Is there another section for this? When you are interested in the origin of a product, you can say, "Where is this made?" Repeat. Where is this made? The assistant might reply, "It's made in Italy," or "It's made locally." Sometimes, when you're looking at electronics, you might want to know about the warranty. You can ask, "Does this come with a warranty?" Or, "How long is the warranty?" Repeat. Does this come with a warranty? If you want to know if a product is easy to assemble, you could say, "Does this require assembly?" Repeat. Does this require assembly? This is useful for furniture or equipment. Let's practice a small role play. Customer. Does this come with a warranty? Assistant. Yes, it has a 1-year warranty. Customer. Great, thank you. When you want to check if something is available in bulk, you can say, "Do you sell this in bulk?" Repeat. Do you sell this in bulk? For example, if you want to buy a large quantity of rice, sugar, or flour, if you are looking for special items like organic products, you can ask, "Do you have organic products?" Or, "Is this organic?" Repeat. Is this organic? When you are in a cosmetic store, you might want to test the shade of makeup. You can ask, "Do you have a tester for this?" Repeat. Do you have a tester for this? If you want to know if the shop delivers to your address, you can say, "Do you deliver to my area?" Or, "Can you ship this to my home?" Repeat. Can you ship this to my home? Now let's do some shadowing practice with these new sentences. I'll say them slowly. You repeat right after me. Do you have something similar? What is this made of? Does this contain nuts? Is this machine washable? Where is this made? Does this come with a warranty? Do you sell this in bulk? Is this organic? Do you have a tester for this? Can you ship this to my home? When you are thinking about buying something but want to know if you can get a better deal, you can ask, "Do you price match?" Repeat. Do you price match? This means the store will match a lower price you found somewhere else. If you see an item on the shelf but it doesn't have a price tag, you can ask, "How much is this?" Or, "Could you tell me the price of this?" Repeat. Could you tell me the price of this? If you want to know if a shop accepts returns on sale items, you can ask, "Can I return this if it's on sale?" Repeat. Can I return this if it's on sale? Sometimes you need to know if there's a fitting room available. You can ask, "Kay, where's the fitting room?" Repeat. Where is the fitting room? Let's add another role play. Customer. Where is the fitting room, please? Assistant. It's over there on the left. Customer. Thank you very much. When you are in a busy shop and you need to wait for help, you might say, "I'll wait here." Repeat. I'll wait here. This is a short but useful phrase to show you're willing to wait. If you are shopping for gifts and want to know if they can send it directly to someone else, you can say, "Can you send this as a gift?" Or, "Can you deliver this to another address?" Repeat, "Can you deliver this to another address?" Sometimes when you want a specific brand, you can ask, "Do you carry this brand?" Or, "Do you have any products from this brand?" Repeat, "Do you carry this brand?" In big cities, many stores have membership discounts. You can ask, "Do you have a membership discount?" Repeat, "Do you have a membership discount?" Now let's practice connecting sentences together in natural conversation. Imagine you are in a store looking for a jacket. You say, "Hi, do you have this in a larger size?" The assistant says, "Let me check for you." You then ask, "Also, do you have it in blue?" They say, "Yes, we do." You say, "Great, can I try it on?" This way, you're smoothly moving from one request to another. When you're at the register and ready to pay, the cashier might ask, "Cash or card?" You can answer, "Card, please," or "Cash, please." Let's repeat, "Card, please." "Cash, please." If you're shopping somewhere where they wrap fragile items, you can say, "Could you wrap this carefully, please?" Repeat, "Could you wrap this carefully, please?" In some places, you might want to know if they can hold your items while you shop more. You can say, "Can you hold these for me while I look around?" Repeat, "Can you hold these for me while I look around?" Now let's do a listening challenge. I will say a question as if I'm the shop assistant, and you think of a possible answer before I give it. Do you want a bag? Possible answer: Yes, please. Would you like me to gift wrap this? Possible answer: No, thank you. Do you have a loyalty card? Possible answer: No, I don't. By repeating and practicing these sentences in different shopping situations, you'll start to use them automatically. And remember, in real life, smiling and speaking politely makes your English sound even more natural. When you are in a store and you want to know if there is a sale or special offer you haven't noticed, you can ask, "Are there any special offers today?" Repeat after me slowly. Are there any special offers today? You can also make it sound more casual by saying, "Do you have any deals today?" If you see a sign that says clearance or sale, but you want to know if a specific item is included, you can ask, "Is this part of the sale?" Repeat, "Is this part of the sale?" Sometimes you might want to ask if the shop can set something aside for you until you return. You can say, "Can you put this on hold for me?" Or, "Can you save this for me until later?" Repeat, "Can you put this on hold for me?" When you are shopping for fresh produce like fruit, vegetables, or meat, you may want to choose your own. You can say, "Can I pick my own?" Repeat, "Can I pick my own?" For example, in a market, you might choose your own apples, or in a bakery, you might choose your own bread rolls. If you want to know how much something weighs, you can ask, "How much does this weigh?" Repeat, "How much does this weigh?" This can be useful when buying fruit, vegetables, meat, or cheese. Sometimes when shopping for clothes, you might want to know if they shrink after washing. You can ask, "Will this shrink in the wash?" Repeat, "Will this shrink in the wash?" When shopping for expensive items like electronics or furniture, you might want to know about payment plans. You can ask, "Do you offer installment payments?" Repeat, "Do you offer installment payments?" If you're interested in learning if the price can be negotiated, especially in markets, you can say, "Is that your best price?" Repeat, "Is that your best price?" When you want to make a small change to an order before paying, you can say, "Can I change my order?" Or, "I'd like to add something to my order." Repeat, "I'd like to add something to my order." Sometimes, if you're not sure about an item, you can ask, "Do you have any reviews for this product?" This is especially common when buying electronics, appliances, or online products. Repeat, "Do you have any reviews for this product?" Let's do a quick shadowing practice with these. Are there any special offers today? Is this part of the sale? Can you put this on hold for me? Can I pick my own? How much does this weigh? Will this shrink in the wash? Do you offer installment payments? Is that your best price? I'd like to add something to my order. Do you have any reviews for this product? Now imagine you are in a supermarket at the meat counter. You could say, "Can I have 300 grams of chicken breast, please?" Or, "Can I have half a kilo of beef mince, please?" Repeat after me. "Can I have 300 grams of chicken breast, please?" If you want a specific cut of meat or type of bread, you can say, "Could I have it sliced?" Or, "Could you cut it thinner?" Repeat. Could you cut it thinner? When you're buying items that are sold by number, you might say, "Can I have 6 of these?" Or, "Can I have a dozen eggs, please?" Repeat. "Can I have a dozen eggs, please?" If you see a long queue at the checkout and you want to know if there is another counter open, you can ask, "Is there another till open?" Repeat, "Is there another till open?" In American English, you might say, "Is there another register open?" When you're shopping in a busy store and you accidentally bump into someone, it's polite to say, "Excuse me," or "Sorry about that." Repeat, "Excuse me. Sorry about that." Sometimes when you want to pay but need to check the total again, you can ask, "Can you tell me the total again, please?" Repeat. "Can you tell me the total again, please?" When you want to pay in cash but don't have the exact change, you can ask, "Do you have change for this?" For example, "Do you have change for a 20? Repeat, "Do you have change for a 20? If you see a display of something but you are not sure if it's for sale, you can ask, Is this for sale? Repeat. Is this for sale? Now let's make a short conversation using some of today's sentences. Customer. Are there any special offers today? Assistant. Yes, we have 20% off all shoes. Customer. Great. Is this part of the sale? Assistant. Yes, it is. Customer. Can you put this on hold for me? I'll be back later. Assistant. Of course. If you are shopping online and chatting with customer service, you might use sentences like, "Can you send me the tracking number?" Repeat, "Can you send me the tracking number?" Or, "When will my order be delivered?" Repeat, "When will my order be delivered?" When buying fragile items like glass or ceramics, you can say, "Could you wrap this well, please?" Repeat, "Could you wrap this well, please?" If you are in a big store and looking for a particular section, you can say, "Could you point me to the electronics section?" Or, "Where is the dairy section?" Repeat, "Could you point me to the electronics section?" Let's do a listening and quick response practice. I'll say a situation and you say the sentence you would use. You want to know if something is part of a discount. Yes. Is this part of the sale? You want to know the total again. Yes. Can you tell me the total again, please? You want to buy 12 eggs. Yes. Can I have a dozen eggs, please? When you buy clothes or shoes, sometimes you want to check if there's a guarantee for damage. Wise. You can ask, "Do you offer a guarantee on this?" Repeat, "Do you offer a guarantee on this?" If you are in a place where you must take a number to be served, you can ask, "Where do I get a number?" Repeat, "Where do I get a number?" When shopping for items that are on display, you may want to know if you can get a new one from the back. You can say, "Can I have one from the back?" Repeat, "Can I have one from the back?" If you see something you like, but you think it might be too expensive, you can ask politely, "Do you have something less expensive?" Repeat, "Do you have something less expensive?" When you are buying clothes, you might want to know if they come in a set. You can ask, "Does this come with matching trousers?" Repeat, "Does this come with matching trousers?" To close this section, let's shadow a short sequence of sentences together. Is this part of the sale? Can I pick my own? How much does this weigh? Do you offer installment payments? Could you cut it thinner? Is there another register open? Do you have change for a 20? Can I have one from the back? Do you have something less expensive? Every time you practice these aloud, you are building your confidence for real-life shopping situations. The more you speak them, the more natural they will feel. When you are shopping and want to make sure something is available in the future, you can ask, "Will you get more of these in stock?" Repeat slowly after me. Will you get more of these in stock? You might also say, "When will you have more of these?" These questions are useful when the product is popular and sold out quickly. If you want to know whether the store offers a special discount for buying more than one, you can ask, Is there a discount if I buy two? Repeat. Is there a discount if I buy two? You can change the number depending on the situation. For example, is there a discount if I buy five? Sometimes you want to check if the price you saw includes tax. You can say, is tax included in the price? Repeat. Is tax included in the price? In some countries, the tax is added at the register, so this question can help avoid surprises. If you need something urgently and want to know if it's available immediately, you can ask, do you have this in stock right now? Repeat, do you have this in stock right now? When you are shopping for electronics or appliances, you might want to know if batteries are included. You can ask, does this come with batteries? Repeat, does this come with batteries? Or, do I need to buy batteries separately? Repeat, do I need to buy batteries separately? Sometimes you might want to know if the product is the latest model. You can ask, is this the newest model? Repeat, is this the newest model? If you're trying to find out how long a delivery will take, you can ask, how long does delivery take? Repeat, how long does delivery take? Or, when will it arrive? Repeat, when will it arrive? When you're in a store that sells perishable items, you might want to know how long they will last. You can ask, what is the expiry date? Repeat, what is the expiry date? Or, how long will this last? Let's shadow these sentences together now. Will you get more of these in stock? Is there a discount if I buy two? Is tax included in the price? Do you have this in stock right now? Does this come with batteries? Do I need to buy batteries separately? Is this the newest model? How long does delivery take? What is the expiry date? Now, imagine you are at a sports shop looking for running shoes. You might say, do you have this in my size? The assistant says, what size are you? You reply, size 9, please. The assistant says, we're out of stock, but we'll get more next week. You ask, could you hold a pair for me when they arrive? Sometimes you may want to know if the shop can notify you when an item is back. You can say, could you call me when it's back in stock? Repeat, could you call me when it's back in stock? When you're in a store that offers loyalty points, you might want to check your balance. You can ask, how many points do I have? Repeat, how many points do I have? If you're buying something for someone else, you may want to know the return policy without a receipt. You can ask, can this be returned without a receipt? Repeat, can this be returned without a receipt? Now, let's do a short practice conversation using some of today's sentences. Customer, do you have this in stock right now? Assistant, yes, we do. Customer, is there a discount if I buy two? Assistant, yes, you'll get 10% off. Customer, great. Is tax included in the price? Assistant. Yes, it is. Customer. Perfect. I'll take them. When you are buying fragile items online, you might want to make sure they are packed safely. You can write or say, "Please pack this carefully," or "Please pack this securely." Repeat, "Please pack this carefully." If you want to know whether a product can be delivered on the same day, you can ask, "Do you offer same-day delivery?" Repeat, "Do you offer same-day delivery?" Sometimes when you are paying with a card, the machine might not work, so it's good to know another option. You can say, "Can I pay by bank transfer?" Repeat, "Can I pay by bank transfer?" When you're in a store and need to know the store hours, you can ask, "What time do you close?" Repeat, "What time do you close?" Or, "What time do you open?" Repeat, "What time do you open?" Let's shadow this mini set together. Could you call me when it's back in stock? How many points do I have? Can this be returned without a receipt? Please pack this carefully. Do you offer same-day delivery? Can I pay by bank transfer? What time do you close? What time do you open? When you're shopping for clothes and want to know about fabric care, you can say, "Does this need dry cleaning?" Repeat, "Does this need dry cleaning?" If you want to know if you can try something before buying it online, you can ask, "Do you have a showroom where I can see this?" Repeat, "Do you have a showroom where I can see this?" Sometimes you might need to know if the product is refundable. You can ask, "Is this refundable?" Repeat, "Is this refundable?" Or, "Can I get a refund if I change my mind?" Repeat, "Can I get a refund if I change my mind?" When you're buying groceries and want to make sure the food is fresh, you can ask, "When was this made?" Repeat, "When was this made?" Let's connect these sentences into a quick example dialogue. Customer, "Does this need dry cleaning?" Assistant, "Yes, it does." Customer, "Okay, is this refundable?" Assistant, "Yes, within 14 days." Customer, "Perfect. Could you call me when the blue one is back in stock?" Assistant, "Sure." By practicing these phrases again and again, your brain will start to store them as ready-to-use tools. So when you're in a real store, the sentences will come to your mouth naturally, without needing to translate in your head. When you are in a store and you want to know if they can order something that is currently not available, you can say, "Can you order this for me?" Repeat after me slowly. Can you order this for me? You can also say, "Could I place an order for this?" This is useful if you've seen an item in their catalog or on their website, but it's not in the shop at that moment. Sometimes you want to know if a store can deliver an item to another country. You can ask, "Do you ship internationally?" Repeat, Do you ship internationally? If you want to be more specific, you could say, do you ship to Canada? Or, do you ship to the UK? If you need to check if a store offers free delivery, you can ask, is delivery free? Repeat, is delivery free? Or you could say, do you offer free shipping? When you go in a store that sells items in different sizes, but you're not sure which size fits you, you can ask, how does this fit? Repeat, how does this fit? The assistant might answer, it runs small, meaning you should take a bigger size, or it's true to size, meaning it matches the usual size. If you are unsure about the quality, you might want to ask, is this good quality? Repeat, is this good quality? You can also ask, does this last a long time? When you're buying something like a phone, computer, or appliance, you might want to know if it's easy to use. You can ask, is this easy to use? Repeat, is this easy to use? If you see a label you don't understand, you can say, could you explain this label to me? Repeat, could you explain this label to me? Now, let's put these into a mini dialogue. Customer, do you ship internationally? Assistant, yes, we ship to most countries. Customer, great. Is delivery free? Assistant, yes, on orders over $50. Customer, perfect. Can you order this for me in blue? Assistant, yes, we can. When you want to ask if a store offers gift receipts, you can say, do you offer gift receipts? Repeat, do you offer gift receipts? This is useful when buying a present, so the person receiving it can exchange it without seeing the price. Sometimes, when you're at a busy checkout, you may want to ask if you can skip the line for a quick payment. You can say, is there a quick checkout? Repeat, is there a quick checkout? If you're paying for something and you want to split the cost with a friend, you can ask, can we split the bill? Repeat, can we split the bill? When you're shopping for food, you might want to know where it came from. You can ask, where is this from? Repeat, where is this from? For example, where are these apples from? If you need to ask whether something is safe to eat or use, you can say, is this safe? Repeat, is this safe? Let's shadow these together. Can you order this for me? Do you ship internationally? Is delivery free? How does this fit? Is this good quality? Is this easy to use? Could you explain this label to me? Do you offer gift receipts? Is there a quick checkout? Can we split the bill? Where is this from? Is this safe? Now imagine you're in a clothing shop. You find a jacket you like but want to check more details. You might say, what material is this made of? The assistant says, it's made of wool. You then ask, is it machine washable? They say, no, it needs dry cleaning. If you are in a store that sells furniture and you want to know about delivery options, you can say, Do you deliver and install? Repeat. Do you deliver and install? This is useful for big items like sofas, beds, or appliances. When you are paying and the cashier asks, "Would you like a bag?" you can answer politely with, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you, I have my own." Repeat both. "Yes, please." "No, thank you, I have my own." If you are shopping at a market stall and you want to pay in cash, but you don't have enough small coins, you can ask, "Do you have change for a 50?" Repeat. Do you have change for a 50? Sometimes you want to know if an item comes in other colors. You can say, "Does this come in other colors?" Repeat. Does this come in other colors? Let's make a short dialogue using some of today's sentences. Customer. Does this come in other colors? Assistant. Yes, it comes in blue, red, and black. Customer. Is delivery free? Assistant. Yes, for orders over $70. Customer. Perfect. Can you order this for me in red? Assistant. Yes, we can. If you want to check whether an item can be exchanged, you can say, "Can I exchange this if it doesn't fit?" Repeat. Can I exchange this if it doesn't fit? When you are shopping for something you haven't tried before, you might want to know if you can sample it. You can ask, "Can I try a sample?" Repeat. Can I try a sample? In some shops, they will ask if you want to be added to their mailing list for offers. If you do, you can say, "Yes, please." And if you don't, you can say, "No, thank you." Let's do some listening and answer practice. Question. Do you offer gift receipts? Possible answer. Yes, please. Question. Where is this from? Possible answer. It's from Italy. Question. Can we split the bill? Possible answer. Yes, let's do half and half. When you want to be more polite in making requests, you can start with phrases like, "I was wondering if." For example, "I was wondering if you deliver on weekends." Repeat. I was wondering if you deliver on weekends. If you want to be extra gentle when asking for something, you can say, "Would it be possible to?" For example, "Would it be possible to hold this for me until tomorrow?" Repeat. Would it be possible to hold this for me until tomorrow? These softer expressions make your English sound natural and polite, especially in customer service situations. When you are shopping and want to know if you can get a refund quickly, you can ask, "How long does it take to get a refund?" Repeat after me slowly. How long does it take to get a refund? This is useful if you're returning an item and want to know when the money will be back in your account. If you are buying a gift and want to make sure the price is not visible, you can say, "Could you remove the price tag, please?" Repeat. Could you remove the price tag, please? When you are paying by card, sometimes the cashier might ask you to enter your PIN. If you don't hear clearly, you can ask, "Where should I enter my PIN?" Repeat, "Where should I enter my PIN?" If you're buying an item and want to know if it's eco-friendly, you can ask, "Is this environmentally friendly?" Repeat, "Is this environmentally friendly?" You can also say, "Is this made from recycled materials?" When you're in a store and need to know if they can contact you when something is available, you can say, "Could you let me know when it's back in stock?" Repeat, "Could you let me know when it's back in stock?" Sometimes, when you're choosing between two items, you might want to know which one lasts longer. You can ask, "Which one is more durable?" Repeat, "Which one is more durable?" If you're buying an item that's sold in a set, but you only need part of it, you can ask, "Can I buy this separately?" Repeat, "Can I buy this separately?" Now let's do a small role play with some of these phrases. Customer, "Could you remove the price tag, please?" Assistant, "Of course." Customer, "Also, is this environmentally friendly?" Assistant, "Yes, it's made from recycled materials." Customer, "Great. Could you let me know when the matching items are back in stock?" Assistant, "Yes, I'll take your contact details." If you are paying for something and need a detailed record for business, you can ask, "Can I have an itemized receipt?" Repeat, "Can I have an itemized receipt?" This kind of receipt shows each item and its price. When you want to know if a store can give you a discount for paying in cash, you can ask, "Is there a discount for paying in cash?" Repeat, "Is there a discount for paying in cash?" Sometimes you might want to know if the price is negotiable. You can say, "Is the price negotiable?" Repeat, "Is the price negotiable?" If you are in a store and you're not sure where to return an item, you can ask, "Where is the returns counter?" Repeat, "Where is the returns counter?" When you are in a shop and want to know if they sell a particular product, you can say, "Do you stock this item?" Repeat, "Do you stock this item?" Let's shadow this group of sentences now. How long does it take to get a refund? Could you remove the price tag, please? Where should I enter my PIN? Is this environmentally friendly? Could you let me know when it's back in stock? Which one is more durable? Can I buy this separately? Can I have an itemized receipt? Is there a discount for paying in cash? Is the price negotiable? Where is the returns counter? Do you stock this item? Now imagine you're in an electronics shop. You find two headphones and want to choose one. You could say, "Which one has better sound quality?" Repeat, "Which one has better sound quality?" If you want to know if there's a warranty for damage, you can say, "Is there a warranty against damage?" Repeat, "Is there a warranty against damage?" Sometimes, when you're buying something heavy, you can ask, "Can you help me carry this to my car?" Repeat. Can you help me carry this to my car? If you're not sure how to use something, you can say, could you show me how this works? Repeat. Could you show me how this works? When you're buying clothes online, you might want to know if the sizes match reality. You can ask, is the size chart accurate? Repeat. Is the size chart accurate? Let's create a short shopping conversation. Customer. Do you stock this item? Assistant. Yes, we do. Customer. Is the price negotiable? Assistant. I can give you a 5% discount. Customer. That's great. Could you show me how this works? Assistant. Of course. If you want to find out whether a store will deliver for free if you spend more, you can ask, is delivery free over a certain amount? Repeat. Is delivery free over a certain amount? When you want to check if an item is waterproof, you can say, is this waterproof? Repeat. Is this waterproof? Or, is this water resistant? Repeat. Is this water resistant? If you are in a store that has a repair service, you can ask, do you offer repairs? Repeat. Do you offer repairs? Let's shadow these quickly now. Which one has better sound quality? Is there a warranty against damage? Can you help me carry this to my car? Could you show me how this works? Is the size chart accurate? Is delivery free over a certain amount? Is this waterproof? Do you offer repairs? By practicing these types of questions regularly, you're building a mental library of ready-to-use sentences for any a life shopping situation. The goal is that when you step into a shop, you won't have to think about grammar. You'll just speak naturally and confidently. When you are shopping and want to know if something is safe for children, you can ask, is this safe for children? Repeat after me slowly. Is this safe for children? You can also ask, is this suitable for kids? If you are buying something as a gift for a baby, you can ask, is this safe for babies? Repeat, is this safe for babies? When you are shopping for clothes and want to know if the color will fade, you can say, will this color fade in the wash? Repeat, will this color fade in the wash? If you want to know if something can be cleaned easily, you can ask, is this easy to clean? Repeat, is this easy to clean? When you are buying something and want to know if it is handmade, you can ask, is this handmade? Repeat, is this handmade? If you want to know if the product is authentic or genuine, you can say, is this genuine? Repeat, is this genuine? Or, is this authentic? Repeat, is this authentic? Sometimes you might want to know if the store will assemble something for you, especially for furniture. You can ask, do you offer assembly service? Repeat, do you offer assembly service? When you're at a store and want to know if the item comes with instructions, you can say, "Does this come with instructions?" Repeat. Does this come with instructions? Let's shadow this group together now. Is this safe for children? Is this safe for babies? Will this color fade in the wash? Is this easy to clean? Is this handmade? Is this genuine? Is this authentic? Do you offer assembly service? Does this come with instructions? Now imagine you are buying a handbag. You could ask, "Is this genuine leather?" Repeat. Is this genuine leather? The shop assistant might say, "Yes, it's 100% leat." Or "No, it's synthetic." If you are buying electronics and want to know if they work in your country, you can say, "Is this compatible with my country's power supply?" Repeat. Is this compatible with my country's power supply? When you are looking for a specific type of product but are not sure if the store sells it, you can ask, "Do you sell?" followed by the product name. For example, "Do you sell wireless chargers?" Repeat. Do you sell wireless chargers? If you are looking for a replacement for something, you can say, "Do you have a replacement for this?" Repeat. Do you have a replacement for this? Sometimes you might want to know if the store gives free samples before you buy. You can ask, "Do you give free samples?" Repeat. Do you give free samples? If you are buying clothes or shoes for someone else and you don't know their size, you can say, "Can I exchange this if it doesn't fit?" Repeat. Can I exchange this if it doesn't fit? Let's make a quick role play using some of these phrases. Customer. Is this genuine leather? Assistant. Yes, it is. Customer. Does this come with instructions? Assistant. Yes, inside the box. Customer. Perfect. Can I exchange this if it doesn't fit? Assistant. Yes, within 14 days. When you want to ask about how a product was made, you can say, "How is this made?" Repeat, "How is this made?" Or, "What process is used to make this?" If you want to check whether an item is recyclable, you can ask, "Is this recyclable?" Repeat, "Is this recyclable?" When you are shopping for food and want to know if it contains certain ingredients, you can say, "Does this contain dairy?" Or, "Does this contain sugar?" Repeat, "Does this contain dairy?" If you want to know if the store has a fitting mirror nearby, you can ask, "Is there a mirror here?" Repeat, "Is there a mirror here?" Sometimes, when shopping for something expensive, you might want to know if there is insurance included. You can ask, "Is insurance included?" Repeat, "Is insurance included?" Let's shadow these sentences together now. Is this genuine either? Is this compatible with my country's power supply? Do you sell wireless chargers? Do you have a replacement for this? Do you give free samples? Can I exchange this if it doesn't fit? How is this made? Is this recyclable? Does this contain dairy? Is there a mirror here? Is insurance included? By practicing these in realistic situations, you prepare yourself to handle shopping conversations with ease and confidence. The more you repeat them, the more natural they will feel when you use them in real life. When you are shopping for clothes and want to check if they will stretch over time, you can ask, "Will this stretch after wearing?" Repeat after me slowly. Will this stretch after wearing? If you want to know whether a product is new or used, you can say, "Is this brand new?" Repeat, "Is this brand new?" or "Has this been used before?" Repeat, "Has this been used before?" When you are looking at an expensive item and want to know if the store offers protection, you can ask, "Do you offer insurance on this?" Repeat, "Do you offer insurance on this?" If you want to make sure the store can hold something until you pick it up, you can say, "Can you hold this until tomorrow?" Repeat, "Can you hold this until tomorrow?" When you are shopping for electronics or appliances, you might want to check if they are energy efficient. You can ask, "Is this energy efficient?" Repeat, "Is this energy efficient?" If you want to know if a product is limited edition, you can ask, "Is this limited edition?" Repeat, "Is this limited edition?" Sometimes you want to know whether the store has a price guarantee. You can ask, "Do you have a price guarantee?" Repeat, "Do you have a price guarantee?" When you're shopping for a special occasion, you may want to ask if the store can rush an order. You can say, "Can you rush this order?" Repeat, "Can you rush this order?" Let as shadow these sentences now. Will this stretch after wearing? Is this brand new? Has this been used before? Do you offer insurance on this? Can you hold this until tomorrow? Is this energy efficient? Is this limited edition? Do you have a price guarantee? Can you rush this order? Now imagine you are buying a watch. You might say, "Is this water resistant?" The assistant says, "Yes, up to 50 meters. You then ask, "Is this genuine leather?" The assistant says, "Yes, the strap is real leather." If you want to know whether a product can be customized, you can ask, "Can this be customized?" Repeat, "Can this be customized?" When you are shopping online, you might want to know if you can change the delivery address. You can ask, "Can I change the delivery address?" Repeat, "Can I change the delivery address?" If you want to check if there's a charge for delivery, you can say, "Is there a delivery fee?" Repeat, "Is there a delivery fee?" When you want to make sure the store can send a replacement if something is faulty, you can ask, "Will you replace this if it's faulty?" Repeat, "Will you replace this if it's faulty?" If you are looking at clothing and want to know if it comes in a tall or petite size, you can ask, "Do you have this in a tall size?" Or, "Do you have this in petite?" Repeat, "Do you have this in a tall size?" Sometimes you might want to check whether an item is returnable after being opened. You can say, "Can I return this if I open it?" Repeat, "Can I return this if I open it?" Let's do a role play with some of these phrases. Customer. Is this energy efficient? Assistant. Yes, it has an A+ rating. Customer. Can this be customized? Assistant. Yes, you can choose the color and size. Customer. Perfect. Will you replace this if it's faulty? Assistant. Yes, within 1 year. When you want to know if a store offers a student discount, you can ask, "Do you offer a student discount?" Repeat, "Do you offer a student discount?" If you are buying something and want to know if it will be restocked after it sells out, you can ask, will you restock this item?" Repeat, "Will you restock this item?" When you are in a busy shop and need urgent help, you can say, "Could someone help me, please?" Repeat, "Could someone help me, please?" If you are shopping for a gift and want it delivered directly to the person, you can ask, "Can you deliver this gift directly to them?" Repeat, "Can you deliver this gift directly to them?" Sometimes you might want to know whether the price will be reduced soon. You can say, "Will this be on sale soon?" Repeat, "Will this be on sale soon?" Let's shadow this next group. Can this be customized? Can I change the delivery address? Is there a delivery fee? Will you replace this if it's faulty? Do you have this in a tall size? Can I return this if I open it? Do you offer a student discount? Will you restock this item? Could someone help me, please? Can you deliver this gift directly to them? Will this be on sale soon? By building confidence with these phrases, you will be able to handle not only common shopping situations, but also special requests and unique situations without hesitation. When you are shopping for clothes or shoes and want to know if they run smaller or larger than usual, you can ask, "Do these run small?" Repeat after me slowly. Do these run small? Or you can ask, "Do these run large?" Repeat, "Do these run large?" If you are buying an item and want to check whether the color in the shop looks different in natural light, you can say, "Can I see this in natural light?" Repeat, "Can I see this in natural light?" Sometimes you want to know if you can reserve something online and collect it in person. You can ask, "Can I reserve this online for in-store pickup?" Repeat, "Can I reserve this online for in-store pickup?" When you are buying an item as a gift but want to include a message, you can say, "Can I add a gift message?" Repeat, "Can I add a gift message?" If you want to check whether a sale item can still be returned, you can ask, "Can I return this even though it's on sale?" Repeat, "Can I return this even though it's on sale?" When you are buying something that might be fragile and you want extra protection, you can say, "Could you add extra packaging?" Repeat, "Could you add extra packaging?" If you are paying and the cashier gives you too much or too little change, you can say, "I think there's a mistake with the change." Repeat, "I think there's a mistake with the change." If you want to confirm that the price you saw is correct, you can say, "Is this the correct price?" Repeat, "Is this the correct price?" Now, let's shadow these sentences together. Do these run small? Do these run large? Can I see this in natural light? Can I reserve this online for in-store pickup? Can I add a gift message? Can I return this even though it's on sale? Could you add extra packaging? I think there's a mistake with the change. Is this the correct price? Imagine you are in a bookstore. You could say, "Do you have this book in hardcover?" Repeat, "Do you have this book in hardcover?" You could also ask, "Do you have this book in paperback?" When you are shopping and want to know if a certain brand is available, you can ask, "Do you stock this brand?" Repeat, "Do you stock this brand?" If you are buying something for the first time and want to know if it's popular, you can ask, "Is this a popular item?" Repeat, "Is this a popular item?" When you are buying food or drinks, you might want to know if they have a sugar-free version. You can ask, "Do you have a sugar-free version?" Repeat, "Do you have a sugar-free version?" If you want to check whether the store will be open during a holiday, you can ask, "Will you be open on the holiday?" Repeat, "Will you be open on the holiday?" When you are looking for something small but important, you can say, "Do you sell spare parts for this?" Repeat, "Do you sell spare parts for this?" Let's create a short practice conversation. Customer, "Do you have this book in hardcover?" Assistant, "Yes, we do." Customer, "Great. Is this a popular item?" Assistant, "Yes, it's one of our best sellers." Customer, "Perfect. Could you add extra packaging? It's a gift." Assistant, "Of course." Sometimes, when you are not ready to buy but want to remember the details, you can say, "Can I take a photo of this?" Repeat, "Can I take a photo of this?" If you are shopping for clothes and want to know if they will shrink, you can ask, "Will this shrink after washing?" Repeat, "Will this shrink after washing?" When you are at the register and want to know if you can use more than one payment method, you can ask, "Can I use 2 payment methods?" Repeat, "Can I use 2 payment methods?" If you want to know if a store has a quiet time when it's less busy, you can ask, "When is the quietest time to shop?" Repeat, "When is the quietest time to shop?" Let's shadow this set now. Do you have this book in hardcover? Do you stock this brand? Is this a popular item? Do you have a sugar-free version? Will you be open on the holiday? Do you sell spare parts for this? Can I take a photo of this? Will this shrink after washing? Can I use 2 payment methods? When is the quietest time to shop? Every time you go over these sentences, try to imagine a real scene. The store, the sounds, the people, so that your brain connects the language with the situation. That way, when you face the situation in real life, the sentence will come to you naturally without hesitation. When you are in a shop and want to know if an item is available in bulk packaging, you can ask, "Do you have this in bulk?" Repeat after me slowly. Do you have this in bulk? If you are looking for a seasonal product, you might say, "When will this be available again?" Repeat, "When will this be available again?" When you want to know if the price is the same online, you can ask, "Is the online price the same as in-store?" Repeat, "Is the online price the same as in-store?" If you are shopping for a specific event, you might say, "Do you have something suitable for a wedding?" Repeat, "Do you have something suitable for a wedding?" You can replace wedding with party, interview, or holiday. When you want to check if an item can be personalized, you can ask, "Can I personalize this?" Repeat, "Can I personalize this?" If you are shopping for food and want to know if it's fresh today, you can say, "Is this fresh today?" Repeat, "Is this fresh today?" When you want to know if there is a matching accessory, you can ask, "Does this have a matching belt?" Or, "Does this have a matching bag?" Repeat, "Does this have a matching belt?" If you want to check whether a product is in limited supply, you can say, "Do you have many of these left?" Repeat, "Do you have many of these left?" Let's shadow this group now. Do you have this in bulk? When will this be available again? Is the online price the same as in-store? Do you have something suitable for a wedding? Can I personalize this? Is this fresh today? Does this have a matching belt? Do you have many of these left? Now imagine you are in a store buying flowers. You might say, "Can you deliver flowers to this address?" Repeat, "Can you deliver flowers to this address?" If you are in a gift shop and want the item wrapped in a special way, you can say, "Could you wrap this in gift paper?" Repeat, "Could you wrap this in gift paper?" When you want to know if a store will notify you about future sales, you can ask, "Can you let me know when you have a sale?" Repeat, "Can you let me know when you have a sale?" If you want to check if a product can be exchanged for a different one, you can say, "Can I exchange this for a different item?" Repeat, "Can I exchange this for a different item?" When you are paying and want to check if the card machine accepts contactless payment, you can ask, "Can I tap to pay?" Repeat. Can I tap to pay? Sometimes, when you buy something with a warranty, you want to make sure you have proof of purchase. You can say, "Can I get a warranty card?" Repeat. Can I get a warranty card? If you want to be extra polite when making a request, you can add phrases like, "if it's not too much trouble," or "if possible." For example, could you wrap this carefully if it's not too much trouble? Repeat. If it's not too much trouble, let's make a short dialogue using some of these sentences. Customer. Is this fresh today? Assistant. Yes, it was delivered this morning. Customer. Perfect. Does this have a matching bag? Assistant. Yes, it does. Customer. Great. Can you wrap this in gift paper? Assistant. Of course. If you are at a market and want to buy in larger quantities, you can say, "What's the price if I buy more?" Repeat. What's the price if I buy more? When you are shopping for clothes online and want to know if they will arrive before a certain date, you can ask, "Will this arrive before Friday?" Repeat, "Will this arrive before Friday?" If you are shopping for a product you saw in an advertisement, you can say, "I saw this in your ad. Do you have it?" Repeat, "I saw this in your ad. Do you have it?" When you want to check if there's a trial period for a product, you can ask, "Can I try this for a week?" Repeat, "Can I try this for a week?" If you are in a store and the assistant offers help, but you want to keep browsing, you can say, "I'm just looking, thank you." Repeat, "I'm just looking, thank you." Let's shadow this last set of useful shopping sentences together. Can you deliver flowers to this address? Could you wrap this in gift paper? Can you let me know when you have a sale? Can I exchange this for a different item? Can I tap to pay? Can I get a warranty card? If it's not too much trouble, what's the price if I buy more? Will this arrive before Friday? I saw this in your ad. Do you have it? Can I try this for a week? I'm just looking. Thank you. By practicing all of these sentences, from the very first greeting in a store to asking about sizes, prices, and delivery, to making polite requests and handling returns, you now have a complete set of 250 essential English sentences for real-life shopping situations. If you practice them regularly, especially by speaking them out loud and imagining real shopping scenes, they will become part of your natural English. The next time you walk into a shop, speak to a cashier, or order something online, you'll have the confidence to communicate clearly, politely, and naturally. And remember, the goal isn't just to memorize the sentences, it's to make them yours. To feel comfortable changing words and adjusting them for any shopping situation you face. Keep practicing, stay confident, and let English become part of your everyday life.